Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and today we have a little bit of an interesting video. Today we're going to be looking at all of the head coach options for the Buccaneers coming into this current offseason. So, who they're going to fire, who they're going to possibly hire, and I'm going to be giving my percentages of the chances of each scenario happening. Now, I'm going to be focusing on the head coaching position, obviously, because that's the most likely position that's going to be getting a lot of attention, obviously. Guys like Mike Smith, they're pretty much gone, essentially, so I'm not really going to look much into that. Today we're going to be focusing specifically on the head coaching position. So obviously, the first option is that Dirk Koetter stays with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, a lot of things have been said. Obviously, a lot of people want Dirk Koetter fired. A lot of people want Dirk Koetter to stay. One of the main reasons of this happening is a lot of people feel that he's possibly earned the chance for another year. He went 9-7 last year, which is the best record that the Bucs have had since they went 10-6 with a year with Raheem Morris, I believe is what it was. But it's the best record that the Bucs have had since then. And obviously this year isn't the best season. The Bucs are currently 4-8. However, a lot of people say, well, you can't keep on firing head coaches after 2 or 3 years because then you turn after 2 years because then you turn into the Cleveland Browns. Fair enough. Fair point. Another reason for Dirk staying is that he could possibly have a sit-down with the coaches, and they give him a lot, or not with the coaches, he has a sit-down with the Glazers and Jason Light, and they talk about what they feel needs to be done for this team. Examples of that being two main things. Firing Mike Smith and giving up play calling. I don't know if Dirk Koetter feels like he's Andy Reid or not, but right now he's very much looking like a poor man's Andy Reid in that sense. His play calling's been very up and down his 2 years with the Buccaneers, more down so than up. However, like I said, a lot of people are saying that, well, you can't fire a guy after 2 years, or oh, he's earned another year. 9-7. We were 9-7 last year. Everybody was appreciating Dirk at the beginning of the season. Now you're all crapping on him. Whatever. Me personally, I don't really care if he stays or goes that much, but if it was up to me, I'd probably get rid of him because again, expectations weren't met. He didn't even come close to meeting the expectations that we had this year, as not only as fans but probably for the ownership as well for this team. However, like I said, you can't keep on firing guys after 2 years, otherwise you turn to the Cleveland Browns. Okay. Also, his connection with Jameis Winston is another big reason that he could be staying. I mean, one of the main reasons that Dirk even became the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was because, one, he was getting head coaching attention from other teams like the New York Giants, among other teams. And then two was his connection with Jameis Winston. A lot of people thought that this guy was going to be the quarterback whisperer for Jameis Winston. He was going to be the guy to elevate Jameis Winston to the next level. So they got rid of Lovie Smith. Thank God. And they elevated Dirk Koetter to that position. So a lot of people feel that he should still stay because of that chemistry he has with Jameis Winston. I don't know. That's really all up in the air for me. But if I had to give a percentage of how likely this scenario is for happening for Dirk Koetter staying, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 40% chance of this happening.
Hi there, Dad.
Oh my God. Hold on. Oh, that's creepy. Okay, so my Siri just went off, and it's literally 5 in the morning, and that scared the crap out of me. I just saw this movie recently about an app that, like, kills people, so I heard Siri talking, I was like, well, I'm gonna die today, so that's terrible. Anyway, 40% chance of this happening, because, again, like I said, can't keep on firing guys after 2 years. But at the same time, the Glazers have been known to pull the trigger on these kind of things. They've been known to make shoot decisions before. And I feel it's more likelier than not that Dirk Koetter is going to get fired because, again, expectations weren't met. The Glazers have been known to be very impatient, too. However, they do really like Dirk Koetter, so it could really go either way. That's why I gave it a 40% chance, is because it's not like impossible that he stays. Like oh, 10% chance, no way Dirk Koetter stays. No, there's a good chance that Dirk Koetter could stay. I almost actually gave this a 50% chance. It could go either way. I probably should have done that actually, but I think it's very slightly more likelier than not that he's going to get fired, especially since lately he's been showing the kind of mindset that he feels like he's going to be fired at the end of the season. So it's really up in the air. Also, another thing that could keep him is if the Bucs win 3 of their 4 last games, or the last 4 games where they go 7-9 or 8-8. However, I feel that's not really going to happen. So, yeah, but I think it's more likelier than not that he is going to get fired. So, going ahead and moving on to the first head coaching candidate that the Bucs could look into is former linebacker for the New England Patriots and current defensive coordinator for the Houston Texans, Mike Vrabel. Now, Mike Vrabel is currently the defensive coordinator for the Houston Texans, former NFL linebacker for the New England Patriots, and former linebackers coach for Ohio State and for the Houston Texans as well. He was then promoted to the defensive coordinator of the Houston Texans, and Romeo Crennel was moved to the assistant head coaching position for the Houston Texans. I did my homework. I probably got that dead wrong, but I don't know. There are some connections here. Let's say that the Glazers, let's just assume that the Glazers are letting Jason Licht be a part of the next head coaching hire. That makes complete sense to me. Obviously he was part of the last one. Figure, yeah, might as well let him be a part of this current one. Jason Licht definitely knows what he's doing. I think he does. I think Jason Light's going to be a big part of who is going to be the next head coach for the Buccaneers if Dirk Koetter leaves, or if Dirk Koetter is fired, sorry. So he does have a connection with Mike Vrabel. They have had time together in New England in 2002 and again in 2009 for a very brief time. And first-time head coaches are becoming a slightly popular thing right now with the San Francisco 49ers, St. Louis Rams, New York Giants too had their own first-time head coach. Bucs had their first-time head coach with Dirk Koetter. These kind of hot coordinators becoming first-time head coaches is becoming kind of a theme lately. These guys who used to be NFL head coaches are kind of getting shafted for these like younger up-and-coming coordinators. Mike Vrabel, I believe, is only 42, so he would fit right in with this kind of trend, if you would. However, he's very young, he doesn't have any experience, and there's probably better options out there. So I could see Mike Vrabel maybe being one of the later options if the Bucs decide to go through their list and decide, okay, well, we didn't get that guy, next guy. We didn't get this guy, okay, next guy. Oh, this guy doesn't want to come? Okay. And then they eventually get down to Mike Vrabel. That's the only scenario where I see this possibly happening, which is why I'm going to give it a 10 to 15% chance of it happening. I really don't think it's likely, but it could happen. You never know. However, next we are going to be talking about another New England Patriot, and this one's actually been here for a while. It is New England offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels, and I love this picture. This picture right here is my jam. I got some good pictures for this. So he's just like, yeah, he's having a great time, and I think he might actually be a pretty decent option, and I think it's actually likelier than most that this would happen. Now, Josh McDaniels is a former head coach for the Denver Broncos. In his 2 seasons, he went 8-8 his first year with Tim Tebow, I believe. He was part of drafting Tim Tebow, so a lot of people actually don't like that. Shocker. But he also went 3-9 before he was fired. I believe this was in 2008 and 2009. I honestly can't remember. However, he's the offensive coordinator in New England currently, and he's won 5 Super Bowls with New England. That's crazy. That's like a long time. Now, one of the main knocks for Dirk Koetter and Mike Smith is that they haven't been able to make in-game adjustments well. So if they see something happening, like one of the main examples is that, oh, well, we ran 14 coverages against Julio Jones in the game when he got like 12 catches, 1 billion yards, and like 500 touchdowns. They said, oh, we ran 12 coverages and it just didn't work. They didn't make the correct in-game adjustments there. You should have put Brent Grimes on him and actually double covered him. That probably would have helped. But whereas the Bucs coaching staff currently isn't good at making in-game adjustments, The Patriots staff is very good at making in-game adjustments, and it's one of the reasons they're so freaking good. And it's not only Bill Belichick, the coordinators are a big part of that too, and the rest of the coaching staff in general. Now, Josh McDaniels has been with Bill Belichick for 12 years in at least some capacity, being a coordinator coach, some form of offensive coach, or the offensive coordinator. He was there in 2001 to 2008. He left for a few years, went to the Broncos and the St. Louis Rams, and then came back in 2012 and has been there ever since. Now, he has a lot of ties to Jason Licht from their time together in New England. Jason Licht was there for a couple of years, I believe, and they had time there together. Jason Licht was the director of player personnel, I believe, for a couple of years there. He has a very sharp mind for the game, and he does have a decent ability to adjust mid-game. He's obviously not as good as Bill Belichick, but obviously that kind of mentality is going to rub off on the rest of the coaching staff if you're there for long enough. And Josh McDaniels has been there for a very long time. So, all these things said, obviously he didn't have a good track record being a head coach, but that was also almost 10 years ago. So you got to think he's learned by now. I believe he's in his 40s as well, 40s or 50s. He was very young when he first became an NFL head coach, and he wasn't ready. However, a lot of players have gone on the record to say, I've never felt more prepared for a game than when Josh McDaniels was my head coach. So he has a very good track record going for himself. And if I had to give a chance of this happening, I'm honestly going to say 50%, because he's always rumored to be a head coach. Every year he's rumored. Every year people kind of ask about it, and every year it's definitely a strong possibility. And I think this year could very well be the year that Josh McDaniels becomes a head coach. And if it's going to happen for any team, it's probably most likely going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or maybe the New York Giants or something. Maybe the New York Giants hire Mike Smith or something, or Steve Spagnuolo. Steve Spagnuolo or Mike Smith are not in this list, by the way. Especially not Mike Smith. I almost put Mike Smith on this list, and I thought, that'll literally never happen. They're going to fire him. So, however, Josh McDaniels is a very strong possibility. He's not the top possibility. I'm sure you all can guess who the top possibility is, but he's definitely up there. It can honestly go either way at this point. It's either it's very likely that we could get him. It's very likely that we couldn't get him. It's up in the air. Moving on to the next person, though, is another person who is very familiar with New England. It is defensive coordinator Matt Patricia. He's currently the defensive coordinator in New England. He's been with Bill Belichick and the Patriots for 12 plus years, 2004 to the current year. He's won 3 Super Bowls with New England. He also has ties to Jason Licht, same as Josh McDaniels. He churns out good defenses even though he's not usually given the best kind of talent. When your best cornerback, your lockdown best cornerback, was a undrafted Super Bowl hero, by the way. In-game adjustments, too. When your best cornerback and pretty much a lockdown guy was an undrafted guy, Malcolm Butler, that's pretty good in terms of getting like talent and like converting into actually good talent, you know. So Matt Patricia is really good. He's always, again, just like Josh McDaniels. Obviously, if you have a good coaching staff, all of your assistants are going to get freaking rumored to be head coaching jobs, and Matt Patricia is no exception. He's been rumored to be linked to head coaching jobs for years now as well. So he also runs good defenses. I think they run more of a hybrid defense, which honestly could be really good for the Buccaneers. I know Mike Smith runs it now, but I think Matt Patricia could run it better. So he also is a very, very solid option. Ties to Jason Licht also help as well. I could see Jason Licht either recommending Josh McDaniels or Matt Patricia. Really just depends on which one he prefers, but I give this one a 45% chance of happening. Both of these coordinators are very good options in my opinion, and especially with the ties to Jason Licht, I think that they could do really well, and that'd be a strong combination of a head coach and a GM. And I think that they would know what they're doing. I think that they could run the team very well. They obviously have proven track records. They've been to the playoffs, it feels like a dozen times, and they've won 3 and 5 Super Bowls each, so they know what it feels like to win a Super Bowl, you know? That's really important. That's, like, really important. So, it's a good option. They're both very good options. However, the next option is probably the most popular option, guys. It is the man, the myth, the legend, Jon Gruden. Jon Gruden, former coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, has the most wins out of any Buccaneers coach, and has won the team's only Super Bowl. Yes, he only beats out Tony Dungy by 1 win. Still, I don't care. He still has the most wins. A very large, not a very large portion of the fan base wants him to return, but a decent amount of the fan base wants him to return, as well as possibly the Glaziers. They kind of like that nostalgia type feeling, which is one of the reasons they hired Lovie Smith. However, that didn't go well at all. And I know what a lot of people are saying is, oh, he's going to come in and he's going to make bad personnel decisions and he's going to ruin the team. Keep in mind, Jason Light's calling the shots. And Jason Light, he's pretty good. He's pretty good at making these personnel decisions. If you just let Jon Gruden coach and let Jason Light handle the personnel moves, that's a pretty deadly combination in my opinion, and one that I think could work very well. Now, he hasn't coached since his final season in Tampa, which was 2008, and he has been a well-paid ESPN commentator since then. Probably more than NFL coaches, to be fair to him. However, this year he is getting inducted into the Buccaneers Ring of Honor, which is going to be very awkward because, ooh, that's going to be awkward. You're going to be hearing a lot of Jon Gruden chants, and, yeah, let's just say that Dirk Koetter is probably not going to like that much. And he has gone on the record and said he has missed coaching, specifically the Buccaneers. So, honestly, guys, if I had to give a chance of this happening, 70%. That's the highest. He's the most likely candidate in my position to replace Dirk Koetter if Dirk Koetter leaves. Now, a lot of people are saying, Jon Gruden's not coming back. Shut up. It's not happening. And, oh, well, there's always been Jon Gruden rumors. There's always been Jon Gruden rumors. He's getting inducted into the Ring of Honor this year, guys. I could totally... you cannot tell me that there is going to be a scenario tomorrow, or today even, because today is Sunday right now, it's 5 in the morning. You can't tell me there's not going to be a scenario that goes down where the owners talk to Jon Gruden about possibly coming back as a head coach. You can't tell me that. And if Jon Gruden gives them a definitive, okay, I'm really going to consider this, guys, like, it's more than likely than not that I want to come back, I could see them firing Dirk Koetter in a heartbeat. You know? If Jon Gruden says tomorrow, yeah, I'll come back, they're going to fire Dirk Koetter, like, tomorrow, or after tomorrow's game. Like, that's going to happen. The owners love Jon Gruden. He won him a freaking Super Bowl. He left on a 9-7 record. There's tons of things. I made a whole video about it. I made multiple videos about it. But really, it's one of the likelier things to happen. Pewter Report is, like, really just calling it. Pewter Report's like, it's gonna happen, basically. And a lot of people have been saying, like, no, don't be stupid. Like, really, don't be stupid. You're stupid if you think that Jon Gruden's gonna... It's really divided fan base here between the whole bring Jon Gruden back and not bring Jon Gruden back. Me, personally, I'd love it. I don't know if it'd be the best move ever, but I would literally love it. I'd make, like, 1,000 videos on it. Like, I would try my... I met Jon Gruden once. It's probably... You know, and he's a nice guy, and it would make me so happy if Jon Gruden came back. I mean, it's just fun if anything happens with the Buccaneers that's, like, pretty important, but I'd be so happy. I could literally talk forever about Jon Gruden coming back to the Buccaneers. Like, that's how much I want it to happen. 70% chance, it could still very much not happen, however, because there was a lot of bad blood there, and oh, he's a ESPN commentator, and he doesn't really want to come back to coaching. Don't know. If he wants to take a pay cut, actually come back and coach for a team that's likes him now and is inducting him into the Ring of Honor, then yeah, I could see it happening. 70% chance though. That's like the most likely scenario I think that's going to happen. However, we got a couple more wild card options here. Two more wild card options. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Frank Reich. Let me see if I can pull him up here. Here he is. Now, this guy's not really well known. He's the quarterback's coach for the Eagles. He's been known to be a quarterback whisperer type of guy. Wentz. He's coached Wentz, Andrew Luck, etc. He's kind of like a Mark Trestman type guy. None of you probably remember who Mark Trestman is. He was the former head coach of the Chicago Bears. I think the current offensive coordinator for, like, the Ravens or something. He has yet to have an opportunity as a head coach and could be due one. He's 54 years old, and he's been a coach in the league since 2008. So, and he's a former player. He's been touted to be the best backup quarterback ever. So, I don't know. You tell me. However, it could very well happen. He could very well be overdue for a head coaching opportunity. There's not a whole lot of connections there with Jason Light or the owners, but they might want to just swing and take a chance on him. I gave this one like a 10 to 15% chance of happening. Like, honestly, just do it like 5 to 10%. But I just figured it was a name to throw in there. But a fun one. Here's a fun one. Now, this one's probably not going to happen. But, Jim Harbaugh. And I love this picture. I told you guys I found some good pictures. Jim Harbaugh is my favorite one, because look at him. He's just like... That's Jim Harbaugh. So, former head coach for the 49ers, current head coach of Michigan. Pretty successful as an NFL head coach. 44-19. He did get fired on an 8-8 record. However, before that, his past 3 seasons before that, he didn't lose, or he didn't win less than, I believe, 11 games. That's pretty freaking impressive. His time in college football could also be done now. He's been there since 2014, and he may just think like, I'm done. I can go back to the pros anytime I want. I'm going back to the pros. That could be his mindset. I don't know. He did go to Michigan, so he might just want to stay there. He went to the playoffs 3 out of his 4 seasons that he was the head coach for the San Francisco 49ers, half of them being with Colin Kaepernick, the other half being with Alex Smith. Not exactly the best quarterback combination ever. I mean, Alex Smith's actually like not bad. Alex Smith is severely underrated, but Colin Kaepernick, don't know about that one. And he could possibly miss coaching in the NFL again, but I don't know. I give this one a 20% chance of happening. Not for like any NFL team, just specifically the Bucs. He doesn't really have any ties to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, unless he likes Jameis Winston or something, or the owners just really throw him some money. So I don't really think that's gonna happen. But I mean, like, yeah, if I had to go ahead and rate it, the top 4 options are: the Bucs hire Jon Gruden. That's the top option, hands down for me. That's the top option. Owners love him. Decent portion of the fan base loves him. He says he misses coaching, specifically the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's on really good terms with the Buccaneers this year. He was on Hard Knocks, Ring of Honor stuff. You know, there's no bad blood there anymore, you know. I mean, yes, he is being a very well-paid ESPN commentator. However, he hasn't flat-out denied the rumors. So, I really think it's the most likely option to happen. Josh McDaniels and Matt Patricia. Josh McDaniels slightly over Matt Patricia. But those two are very good options as well. And then finally, the last option, Koetter stays. 40% chance for that one. 70% chance Jon Gruden comes in. 50% chance Josh McDaniels comes in. And 45% chance that Matt Patricia comes in. So these are kind of our options right now. In all honesty, yeah, I think Jon Gruden's going to come aboard. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, James, you're being stupid. I really don't care. Like, call me stupid. I don't care. Come on. Come on, guys, like, it's very possible. You cannot deny that it's not at least somewhat possible. You can't deny that. There's a lot of stuff going on with Jon Gruden and the Bucs right now, or this year, and Jon Gruden isn't even coaching the Buccaneers right now. Like, I feel like we've heard more about Jon Gruden and the Buccaneers than Dirk Koetter and the Buccaneers. Like, I don't know, like, Jon Gruden's not even the coach, and people are talking about Jon Gruden with the Buccaneers, like, a lot. So, it's interesting. It's very interesting. I think that's the most likely scenario. But let me know what you guys think about the head coaching options down in the comments section below. What do you think is going to happen with the Buccaneers head coaching situation? Love to hear your opinions about it, and I love to talk with you about it. But that's it for this video, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. But until then, goodbye for now, guys. I'm going to do my Jim Harbaugh face. Well, it fades to black.